Hi guys! Lesson 4 is on quadrilaterals today. So remember, a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. Remember, we think about our four-wheelers because that's easy to remember, okay? So a quad has four. You have this handy-dandy page inside your packet that you will want to get out today, and we'll use this. I drew mine on my marker board so that you and I can work together, okay? So get that ready and in front of you so that you're all set. Okay, so turn to this page. Now, while you're turning to that page, we're going to talk a little bit about those quadrilaterals. Remember, they have four sides and they have four angles, okay? Now, here's the thing. Some of their angles will be what's called a square angle or a right angle, and some of them will not be. So I'm just going to take a minute just to talk about angles with you, and we're going to do something, okay? So you're going to need your arms, so make sure your arms are free, and we're going to make a right angle, we're going to make acute, and we're going to make obtuse, okay? So get your arms ready. So the first one that you need to know today is called a right angle. A right angle is 90 degrees, okay? It's a right angle, square corner, okay? You're going to make an L with your arms. So you take one arm and you stick it straight up in the air. And then you stick the other arm out like this so that it makes that L shape, okay? And your head is like where you would mark. There's like a little box that you'll make to make the right angle, which we're going to look at in just a couple minutes so that you can see that square angle, okay? So a right angle or a square corner or square angle is going to be 90 degrees, and that's where you make the L shape. So is everybody making that L shape? Now take that arm that's sticking up in the air and you're going to make it come smaller, okay? When you do this, that's called an acute angle. And I always go like this. Okay, so here's your 90-degree angle or your right corner or right angle. When you come smaller than that, even if it's a tiny bit, and it's not 90 anymore, it's 89, or it's 80, or it's 45, or you get smaller. That's acute. And I always go, aw, that's acute. That's an acute angle. Now go back up to your right angle. Okay, this is your 90 degrees, your square angle, square corner. When you get bigger than 90, let's say you go 91. Oh, take that top arm, move it a little bit. Maybe you go 100, or you go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's called obtuse. That means it's a big angle. So we go back up to right angle. Now make it go obtuse. It's big. Go back to right angle. Make an acute angle. Aw, it's acute. Remember, anything less than 90 is acute. Anything bigger than 90 is obtuse. So now, whenever you look at angles, you look at them as right, you look at them as acute or obtuse, and that's going to help us, okay? The other thing you need your arms for today are parallel lines. We've talked about parallel. I know you've talked about it with Mr. Weatherby. Parallel, remember, are where you have two lines and they never, ever, ever cross, okay? They go on and on and on forever and ever and ever, never cross each other, okay? So parallel lines, we're going to talk about those today too. So if you have this paper, get this out in front of you, it's filled with quadrilaterals, which means a four-sided figure, okay? So on my marker board, I have my markers here, I have my blue for my lines and my purple for my angles, and I have the same shapes that you have on your paper, okay? I just drew them on my marker board so that you could see. Now this first one up here, this is a new shape and it's called a trapezoid. Trapezoid, okay? Let's mark the sides on a trapezoid, okay? So go 1, 2, 3, 4. How many sides does it have? 4, right? A four-sided figure is a quadrilateral. Now I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to make my angles here, okay, or mark them. Now, what I want to show you now are those square corners, okay, those right angles that make that L shape, which is 90 degrees. Look down here in this corner. This is making that L shape. So for this angle, what I can start doing is I can start making it like a box down here, okay? And then up here I see another one of those, okay? This one looks like it's obtuse. It's getting bigger than 90 degrees, so I'm gonna go like that. And this one looks like it's acute. It's smaller than that L-shaped 90 degrees. So I'm going to mark him right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a polygon. Okay, it's a quadrilateral, has 4 sides, 4 angles. And then I hop over here. Your next shape that you guys have is a rectangle. We know what a rectangle is. So I go through and I mark my sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you notice about the rectangle? Look at the angles. Are they right angles? Are they obtuse? Or are they acute? If they make that L shape and they're 90 degrees, that's your right angle or your square corners, okay? So this time I notice that they all have a square corner. That means they're all 90-degree angles. So I'm going to make a little box here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 angles, 4 sides. That's your rectangle. It's a quadrilateral. It's also a polygon because they're same number of sides, same number of angles. Okay? Then I have here, this one's called an isosceles triangle. Oh, I'm sorry, isosceles trapezoid. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to mark my sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 4 sides. Then I'm going to mark my angles. Now start looking at your angles here and start thinking right angle, which is 90 degrees. Think about obtuse, which is bigger, and acute, which is smaller. Okay, that just kind of gets you thinking ahead here. Well, I'm looking at them and I'm thinking about my arms being straight up like an L for 90 degrees, and then smaller for acute and bigger for obtuse. And when I look here, this guy looks smaller. He's an acute angle. This guy looks bigger. He's obtuse. So I'm going to mark him. He looks like he's an obtuse angle. And what do you think this guy is? You're right. It's acute. So small. So this one has 4 angles again and 4 sides. And that's your isosceles trapezoid. Oh, okay. So look here. We talked about this one in a lesson that we've already done. This is a square. What makes a square a square? All the same size sides. You got it. Same size sides. That's a square. So I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to mark my sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides, quadrilateral. Now what do you notice about the angles on this one? You're right. Right angles, square corners, 90 degrees, right? All right, so I'm going to make a little box in each one of these. Making a little box because that's what shows that that's a right angle or square corners, okay? And it's a 90-degree angle. Remember, it makes that L shape. There are 4 of them. So it's a polygon and it's a quadrilateral. Now here I have what's called a rhombus. Now a rhombus is like a square that's been stretched. These sides are going to be the same size, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to mark my angles. Now remember, a square had square angles or right angles, but look at this guy. Okay, so look at him. You're going to mark your angles here. Now what I did was I took my square and I kind of like stretched him a little bit. Okay, so there's your 4 angles. Okay, down here we're on our last 2 shapes. Now this guy is called a parallelogram. In the word parallelogram, there's actually a pair of L's, which we know parallel means they go on and on and on and on and on and on and on forever and ever, and they never touch. So look at this guy. See how this line and this line, the top and the bottom, these 2 would go on forever, like train tracks. They would go on and on and on and never touch, okay? If you look at the yellow lines on a road, okay, sometimes we have 2 lines right beside each other in the middle of the road. Those are going to be parallel to each other. So if I count my sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 sides. And then I look at my angles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 angles. Now my last one is my kite, okay? Have any of you flown any kites? We've had some windy days. Definitely have had a chance to do that. I've seen some posts on Facebook of kids flying kites, so that's pretty cool. You can always get out and then talk about your shape, which is a kite, talk about the sides and the angles, and you're doing math and having fun at the same time. All right, so let's count our sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on your paper, you should have this all labeled. And then we label our our angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4 angles, 4 sides. which makes it a polygon because it's the same amount, but it's also a quadrilateral. Remember, quadrilateral means 4. So today when you go to do your problem set, I want you to take a look. You've already labeled all of this, okay? So this is already, remember, when you do this kind of stuff, this helps you when you go to do the lesson, okay? Now on this page, this actually shows you exactly what we just did on that other page, okay? So I have a rectangle and a square here, okay? And actually, I think they both look like rectangles. This one was a square, but it got stretched when it got put on the paper, okay? And what we did was we labeled the sides, okay? And then we labeled the square corners, okay? So they have their sides labeled, and then you can see where they're square, all right? So when you go to do your lesson today, it's asking you about parallel lines. Remember, parallel go on and on and on, forever and ever, never cross, never touch. So when you go to draw, make sure you use a ruler or, like I said before, a spine of a book, something straight, okay? Down here, you're gonna want some crayons, maybe a couple different colors, because they're asking you to trace the parallel lines. Some of these shapes will have 2 sets, like you have 2 feet, that's a set, or you have 2 shoes, okay, that's a pair, but you have to have 2 that match. So when you go to trace, you might want to take 2 crayons and you'll have, oh, these ones are parallel. Oh, these are parallel, 2 different colors. You might find that you have shapes that only have 1 set or 1 pair of parallel lines. That's okay. So just be careful. But I would use different colored crayons or colored pencils, something fun, okay? So do your best, okay? Remember, a quadrilateral has 4 sides and you can do this, okay? All right, you got this.